So I'm here with Dr. Stephen Quilley, and Dr. Quilley, can you tell us a little bit about what ENVigorate 2015 is?
It's a it's a kick up the bottom for faculty in the university to do things that we should be doing anyway. Um, I think. Can I extemporize?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So I think universities started out as monastic communities, or many of the universities did in Europe. So that's monks, not just monks, though, a whole village, a whole pattern of life, making agriculture, making food, breaking bread, um, marketplaces, trade. So you've got the cathedral and the bazaar, and the pattern of life that was part of the intellectual process involved walking and working and making things with your hands and conversing and debating, and most of all it involved breaking bread, sometimes in just everyday meals and sometimes in very ritualized settings, but always breaking bread, always events which brought people together from all different walks of life. And I think modern universities have forgotten where they come from. They underestimate the role of art. They underestimate the role of leisure. They underestimate the role of child rearing and of certainly of food and of drink and of joy and of breaking bread. There are very few opportunities, not just in this university, but in many universities, to break bread. And they tend to produce, especially the newer universities, rationalized, highly rationalized, specialized, inhuman spaces. They don't really produce places, they produce spaces in which are almost designed to impede conversation, designed to make it difficult for postgraduates and undergraduates to talk to each other, to argue, for members of faculty to discuss things informally with students. They make it hard for interdisciplinary conversations. You don't meet people accidentally. If you're in sociology, you don't bump into people from the physics department. So interdisciplinarity is very, very hard, and I don't think they like to be. They have to be like that. It's possible to, in a way, universities should be going back to where they came from, and trying to create places, and not just sort of abstract spaces. They should be creating living communities which centre on walking and conversation and accidental chance encounters and art and music. And that requires people to be living on campus. It requires students living on campus, but also members of faculty. It requires children. It requires spaces for children to play and for children to be part of the process, not locked away in some special children's area, but to be there all the time. Ideally, it would include people having dogs and pets, because that's what people do out there in the community. And instead of having this very rigid separation between this rationalised university and the town, or what they sometimes call the town and the gown in England, you bring the town onto the campus. It becomes part of the community in that way. So I think the festival is a clear nod in that direction. It's a small start, but I think it's really, really important, because it reminds faculty that there is much more to the business of intellectual life than simply sitting around in very, very specialized and high octane kind of conversations with our colleagues. That you need that sort of wider context. I think plants need soil, academic life needs community. It needs what Victor Turner called communitas, and you can't really plan communitas. You can't really there isn't a playbook of communitas. It's something which just happens, but it happens in the context of vivacious, living communities in places. It doesn't happen in abstract spaces. Does that answer your question?